Welcome to the Nerd News Podcast, starring Tyson Cox and Tyler Waltz. That ass is tapped.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, nerds and nerds alike across the lands. Welcome to Nerd News. Dance to that song as if you were at a Gencon after party.
Yeah, which we were.
It's also not a lot of dancing.
No.
You just move how you feel.
I got there first, and I wish you guys could have seen the, before the big crowd showed up, because it was one dude going ham.
Oh, I
by
love that.
himself.
I love that.
For 20 minutes.
Oh, I love that. I'm unabashedly love people that are like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get it.
Well, yeah, the worst part was he would walk up to other people scattered on the outskirts and try and grab them and pull them in, and they were just like, no.
So that man's a true leader. That man's what America needs.
Maybe.
He's putting himself on the line, and he's trying to encourage you to also have a good time.
That's true, yeah.
He's a good man.
It came off as a bit creepy because it was only ladies that he was walking up to.
Well, we found the problem.
Yeah. Right. I'm fairly certain every lady there was there with a dude.
Yeah, because that's
the vast majority. I would say, we had two friends that were there. They weren't with dudes, but they were with us in a group of friends.
Which consisted of dudes.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
Safety dudes, if you will.
Yeah, safety dudes.
Safety dudes.
Right.
Dudes that were if someone's like, hey, dance.
Which we had to do twice.
That is true.
Yeah, for your wife and my friend.
Yeah, nerds. Same guy, too, by the way. That was so fun.
Oh, man. I don't mind saying it. That guy was a piece of shit.
Oh, yeah.
He's just a real.
Let's just talk about that, I guess, because it was really funny to watch. So my wife, she's a person. She dances. She does her own thing. I'm not here to, eagle eye control her or whatever. So I'm having a good time. She's having a good time. I'm talking to some people, and I turn, and there's a tall fella I love it when people's costumes just stop at the jeans.
Yeah.
He had a faint, you can tell he bought a leather jerkin, and he had leather wrist bracers on.
Yeah. It looked like he was a ranger that ran out of budget.
It was I'm a ranger from the waist up, baby.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, he also had you could tell he was a fit dude. He was a classically handsome man. And so, but you could also tell he thought he was going to go into this party and just clean up.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I look over and he's trying to do the come and dance to Rena, and Rena's like, no. And he's like, come on. And she's like, no. He goes, buddy, look at me. And she's like, no. And he's like, oh, bitch, or whatever.
Yeah, just kind of wandered off.
Yeah.
And then later, my friend Sarah and I were just kind of chatting, and I believe you were there too. Mm-hmm. And that same dude comes up, and then he gives the classic line, which I'm surprised didn't work, of, you're the only girl that I've had eyes on all night. And it was like, okay, that's creepy.
And also a lie.
A lie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was wild. It was a good time, but you could tell that 80% of the people in that room had no idea what to do.
And this is so I didn't like that dude. That dude can huff a bag of farts, but I unabashedly loved the people who didn't really know how to dance.
Oh, 100%, because it's good for them to be out doing that stuff.
Yeah, and it's a safe environment. It's a bunch of nerds, and just the dance moves were I love them because that's them expressing joy through motion in their body.
Yeah. That one guy tried to do that handstand. Oh, dude, I lost my mind.
He was a littler fella. He was maybe 4'11", real short guy.
Yeah, if that.
Tearing it up.
Yeah.
He had a great time.
It was hilarious.
I loved it. He would kind of motion people out of the way and then just fucking just wiggle his body, and everyone would be like, yeah!
It was great.
That's the core reason I love Gencon is how we're all weird. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. The post party was super fun.
Mm-hmm. I tickled a man.
On purpose.
I on purpose Gucci Gouda fella.
Yep.
But the wrong fella.
Thought it was me.
Thought it was I was walking and there was another. You look like standard nerd. By the way. You look.
Come to find out, a lot of heavier, curly-haired, tall nerds.
I was gonna go with a lot of handsome folk, but thanks for taking the bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just walking up behind this guy, and I was like, ooh, big tall guy, curly hair. I'm going to get. I was like, hey, Tyler. I was like, Gucci, 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 goo. And the guy just goes, he just locks up, and then he just turns, and he looks at me, and I look and see that it's not Tyler. Yeah. And there's a wasp on the wall.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, it's fun. Huh. Sees that it's not Tyler, and I just go, hey, and I walk away. It was a good time.
Yeah. Should we pause the episode and handle the wasp?
No, you just kill it. I'll hand some in it. Oh, it's on your Godzilla. Godzilla, yeah. Get him.
Oh, man. Let's go ahead and pause this. All right. Crisis averted. I've done my part.
I cringed and got scared.
Yeah, you did.
I saw it.
Now they know who the man is in this relationship. As you were saying, tickling men.
Yep. Nope. Just tickled the man, Gucci Good, and walked off. It was a good time.
Yep. I love the full, because you've made a mistake almost immediately. I've done that before. If I can see the reflection off the person in front of me's head, thinking it's you. I get distracted with myself, and then. But yeah, no, it's funny every time because you do it, and then it's the immediate like full body tense, and then you're like, oh, when they realize it's me, it's gonna be, oh.
Yep. Like, I'm just glad he wasn't like, I'm gonna crush you or something. You know what I mean? I mean, like, oh, this is how I die.
Andre the Giant turns around.
It's like
cuts a 4-minute fart and beats you to death.
Are you Tyler? I am now, boss.
Yeah, right.
What? It turns into 6 gold coins.
Oh, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, Gencon was fun.
What was your favorite event at Gencon?
I really enjoyed, like, so I got a sneak backstage and kind of like hang out with some of the Glass Cannon dudes, so that was super fun.
Yeah.
But that's not like a ticketed event.
For sure.
I really enjoyed Dub That Hentai. Because I had never seen it.
That was great.
I had never seen it. It was really fun to have. How many? 500 people?
Easily. It maxed out at 600, and I believe when we bought tickets, they only had like 70 left.
Yeah, so 600. There was 600 people there, all in a room, and we're all just watching cartoon porn together.
Yep, pretty much.
And
it's a game show. It's a game show.
Yeah, which makes it fine.
Yeah, right.
Because 3 people could win to full $4.
Yeah, pretty much. So essentially what it is they take all the sound out of hentai, and then they grab people from the audience to make the noises for the video. Mm-hmm. And then the audience votes on who made it funnier.
Yeah.
I've went for 3 years now, just because like I don't even give a shit about the show. I people watch the whole time.
Oh, yeah?
Like the wildest thing. Because like that event can go one of 2 ways. It can either be a bunch of people that think the concept is funny, and then they enjoy the game show. Because in between the videos, there was actual like games, like drinking games and stuff like that.
Yeah, drinking spelling bee and
so it is a fun party-ish event where the background is very adult, turned into a funny game.
Yeah.
But then you get the people that are there for the hentai, and you can tell. Like last year, there was a guy that was sitting in front of my group of friends the entire time. He was just filming, like not the show. He just had it zoomed in to the video on the background, and he was just the whole time just videoing it.
How does he not have the internet?
I don't know.
He's like, I'm a collector. I'm just trying to gather it all.
Yeah, it's either that or like, hey, I can like search this later. I don't know, but it was real creepy. He was by himself, completely silent.
What? No way.
Odd. Old guy too, like in his 60s or like late 50s, early 60s.
That I almost respect that not give a shit anymore. He's like, I don't care. I don't know how to find this otherwise. Yeah.
But
this is a $20 ticket each year for all my jerking material. Thank God they do it twice with different noises.
It's going to be great for the times I get it working. But my favorite part is there's normally 4. Because there's 4 rounds of it, right? The 4th round is always like the shock video, where it's like something crazy happens in it, or something like that's where the tentacles come out, or something like that. Yeah. Well, the big reveal for the one like 2 years ago was like right at the end of the video, the girl turns around and has a wiener. And the guy recording it just goes, puts his phone up and leaves.
He left.
Oh my God. It was so funny. funny.
Oh
Just
god.
that's the only noise he made the whole time was blah. And then he shuts his phone and leaves.
Way to make it weird.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It was so funny.
I have to go back to being a millionaire now. I just assume he's a rich old man.
No, well, he could afford food. He's a big guy. He's a real big dude.
Well.
But oh my gosh, it was funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was a good time. I
liked that I liked at the very beginning of the event. The guy's like, "Hey, we gotta." So it's brought to by a burlesque troupe, Cosplay Deviants.
Yeah.
And the guy comes out and he's like, "We got this fun thing." Makes some music. Yeah. And he's like, "Time to meet the people." And he brings out the 4 dancers, and then they all just come out and then just show us their boobs.
Yeah.
And then put them away and then leave.
Yeah. That's it. That's the only time that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah.
It was
and they
pretty
don't.
funny.
They don't like the ladies don't come back out topless. They don't do a dance. It's just like they play games.
It's just a game show after that. Yeah.
You're like. It was fun to hear 600 nerds see boobs and go
yeah, half for the first time.
Yeah.
Just like
which one do I look at? There's 4.
yeah, that was funny.
Sleepy.
Yeah, they were also the ones that hosted that after party too.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was a lot of fun. I think my favorite event was probably so I sampled a bunch of board games. Right?
Oh yeah.
And I found a lot that were really fun. The guy that taught us the new Vampire the Masquerade system,
that was super cool.
That dude was amazing. Like that guy made that event. He went through and he did a great sum up of the lore and what it means to be certain things.
Well, he also
was so good.
He did it for free. Like he was just like, I got 15 minutes. I can see, and he sat us down. He gave such a great explanation, and I'm intrigued by the dice system.
Yeah,
because it's slightly different, and it has its own dice, which I'm like, I like this because it's. Yeah. Ooh, it's fun and different. And you're like, I like the fact that you're replacing dice with other dice.
Yes.
That's really neat to me.
And there's a critical fail success. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Where it's you succeed, but it's because
messy.
you overpay. Yeah, messy.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
But the guy being like, no, we're sold out, but we have a few minutes, and doing that for us was great. It was probably my favorite part about Gen Con.
Yeah.
Because props to that guy.
Yeah, it's all people coming out and coming together and they love the thing they're doing, so they're usually pretty chill about stuff.
Right. But then there's also the people that take it way too seriously.
Yeah.
I was playing a game, and it literally the event that we signed up for was beginners and newbies learning session, and there was one guy that had played it before. And when we were asking questions, he's like, "Hey, we're running out of time." It's this was for learning the game. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's how time works. Yeah. I really genuinely really enjoy just walking around and just seeing stuff. And I'm not a huge illegal drug user of marijuana.
Okay.
But I partook.
Oh.
And I wandered around.
Nice.
Incredibly high. And we tried to learn how to play Galaxy Truckers because I bought it. It seemed really fun, so I bought it. And so we're just sitting at this table, and all of a sudden I just remembered I was still doing a thing. And I was like, oh. And there, everything was all just colors and noises because it was essentially this big cafeteria with furries walking by. You know what I mean? It's just this is not a conducive learning environment.
Oh my gosh. Regardless of what you think of furries, respect for walking around in the heat.
Oh, yeah.
In that suit.
Oh, my God.
I was in shorts and a t-shirt, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it.
God, yeah.
But some of them have air conditioners built into them.
I saw a guy dressed as Black Noir from The Boys.
Oh, okay.
Which is just black on black on black, head to toe, with vests and gloves.
And latex.
And you could just watch. He had his knees bent outward, and you could just tell he's I've chafed everything. Oh no!
You got to keep your bits separate.
You gotta dust them up with some of that Gold Bond medicated powder.
Yeah. Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsors. Shaq, hit me up. Yeah. All right. But yeah, no, it was super fun.
Yeah, no, Gen Con was a blast.
Cannot wait for next year or another con. Well, actually, we meant to do content, but we're kids at Christmas, so we're just let's just look at stuff.
Yeah,
Woo!
We got in way over our head and just ended up being oh, now that we know and kind of have the mentality of content to make, it was just a bunch of notes for next year.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It'll be a good time.
Yeah. You got to dance with a hula hoop girl?
I did. I dressed as a sexy Mothman, which apparently I found out is some dude's kinks. Which is, hey, more power to you. But I walked in and the guy was like, so I went as sexy Mothman. It was a TikTok trend that doesn't really have a costume for it or as much popularity as I thought. So I just was in BDSM gear with moth wings and goggles and stuff. We'll put a picture up somewhere.
Yeah.
And I kept going, oh, it's not a sex thing. And people are like, to me it is.
Yeah, right? I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah, some guy was like, oh, you're like Kinky Arthur from The Tick. That's my thing. And I'm like, that's your thing?
Yeah.
Oh, man, things are getting specific nowadays.
Yeah, and you got to feel bad for the more specific stuff because it's like, man, you're in a real fine little spot.
I hope you have a good job to pay someone to draw it for you.
Yeah, no joke. Whew, cool. Well, we've talked about Gencon a lot.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of love there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Every time I go, I'm always excited immediately for next year, and then forget to plan. Don't buy event tickets.
Yeah.
And rinse and repeat.
It's good. But so yeah, we watched. You were talking to me a little bit about a movie you watched. That's a smooth transition.
Black Phone.
Well, Black Phone, but you're talking about how like you make a couple of changes.
Oh yeah. So I rewatched the movie The Strangers.
Yeah, let's play a little game of fixed it for you.
Yeah, so I rewatched the movie The Strangers because it's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. And the thing that always gets me about horror movies is, to a certain degree, realism. If it can happen in real life, it's way more scary to me because of just the possibility, right? Like, I don't necessarily believe in ghosts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So any supernatural movie, they're fun. I'm never worried.
So you don't think the band Ghost is going to make it?
No.
They're doing pretty good, bud.
Oh, okay, good to know.
Yeah. He's like, I'm just waiting for the fall.
But so The Strangers was a very good home invasion story that was just freaky, right?
Yeah.
But there's one scene in the middle of the movie that kills it for me. Like, just kills it, because horror movies unfortunately suffer from two things. Either you got to justify the cell phone because anybody can just call for help, so something has to happen, and dumb decisions. Somebody has to make a dumb decision to carry the plot at some point.
I love when you can tell like there's a horror movie being written, and they're like, how do we handle the phone? They're like, it's 1990.
Yeah, right. It takes place in a different...
Yeah.
Well, that's where The Strangers had a really good tie-in for that, because the invaders had access to the house before the people knew they were even there.
Okay.
So it starts getting suspicious when the cell phone's in the fireplace.
Oh.
So it's like,
You're like, that's not my wireless charger.
Exactly. So that's how they start the creepy stuff. It's like, hey, I can't find my phone. And then when it pans over, they don't see it. But when it pans over, you see it in the fire.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, they've dealt with that pretty well.
Yeah.
And you've seen them in the background throughout the beginning of the movie, knowing that they're in there.
Ah, creepy.
So they're altering things to set it up for them. So it was a good setup. They handled part one really well.
All right.
But after they are confronted, I almost said husband, but they're just boyfriend, girlfriend.
Okay.
The boyfriend.
They're sinners is why.
Yeah.
This is a real allegory for sin.
The boyfriend finds a shotgun because it was his grandfather's like vacation home or something like that, and he gets it. They load
because guns in America exist.
Right.
That's essentially it.
But at this point in the movie, they get the gun. They're in the closet with one entrance.
Yep.
Just pointing the gun at that door, and they even make the comment, "It's like, we just got to wait him out at this point." And then he's like, "I just remembered, there's a radio in the shed."
Yeah.
Outside, across an acre of field.
I mean, hey.
That might be our best bet. And I'm like, that's it. That's the moment in the movie that kills the rest of it for me. Because logically, you would just park there.
They could theoretically light the house on fire, though.
They could.
Like, there's ways to get people out of a room.
For sure. It shouldn't be the dumb decision of there's a ham radio in the barn.
Okay.
Like, I think that is the dumbest thing ever when you are posted up.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if they wanted to kill him as easy as, like, setting the house on fire, they probably would have done that.
Yeah,
you know?
But I think after a certain point, they're like, all right, we've kind of been here. They're going to try and call somebody. They've got a gun in the room. Well, let's smoke them out.
That's true. But it still bothers me that their best decision was, it's 2 a.m, let's run across a pitch black forest into a barn to get a ham radio.
True.
That's the dumbest decision ever.
So how would you fix it?
How would I fix it? So there's 2 ways that you could fix it. One of them would be like a convenience of storytelling thing, where he goes to shoot the gun and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, it's because it's an old gun that he pulls. It's like his grandfather's.
Ah, okay.
So it could have been like a it fires the first round and then something happens to it.
Sure.
Because like old guns that aren't refurbished, if they have a weakness in the barrel, it could have been a one and done. So they could have done something like that. The way that I would have fixed it is that when they went into the closet to hide, because there was 3 people pursuing them, one could be in the closet hiding, jumps out and overpowers them.
Yeah.
Because they were hiding in there.
Yeah.
And caught them off guard, and then it reignites the scurry of everything running around.
Okay.
Right? Because my idea for a horror movie is they should make all the right decisions and it not work out.
Yeah.
So the dumb decision making killed the rest of the movie because I'm like, they shouldn't even be in this situation.
Well,
like, period.
Well, they're panicked,
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would fix the movie Godfather.
Okay. This is sketchy ground because Godfather is a beloved movie. So saying that you want to fix it at all, there's going to be people that are like, you're a piece of shit.
I would. They haven't heard me out yet.
Yeah.
And I think once I say how I'd fix it, they're going to go, we agree.
Right.
I would have Don Corleone.
Okay.
Played by Bruce Cambell. That's it. That's the whole fix. Everything else exactly the same.
Why would that fix it? Or are you just memeing on people?
Fix it for me.
I'm making this movie for me, not everybody.
It's fix it for you, and you say that to me. So it's me saying it to you, saying it to me. So it's fix it for me.
That makes sense.
Bruce Cambell.
Yeah. I mean, Bruce Cambell does make most things better.
I'm a huge fan of Bruce Cambell.
His cameos are amazing.
No, I want him to lead it.
Oh.
I want him to be the guy. It's just Bruce Campbell's big chin being like, look how they massacred my boy.
What movies has he led other than The Evil Dead?
Army of Darkness, Evil Dead.
I just said other than those.
I know.
Thanks
I'm
for
trying
naming them anyway.
Well, I got to take a second for my brain to leave. There was
because he's in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
but I don't know what he's ever been a lead in.
He was a lead in a movie about airport that's getting overran by aliens.
Okay.
For sci-fi only.
Okay.
Bubba Hotep. My Name is Bruce. Those are both good.
Okay.
He was in Darkman? I have to watch that.
This is exhilarating.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, it's like one of those things where you're like, oh, come on, buddy. You're really letting me down here.
Read faster.
He was in Congo? Like, it's just, the man with the screaming brain. He's in a lot of, like, B horror movies.
Yeah,
I
guess that makes sense, though.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. Like, that's why I love him.
Gosh, his cameos in movies are great. Like, his newest one in Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
God, there was a great, someone was interviewing him about Pizza Papa. And like, I love Bruce's angle on stuff because he'll make it really entertaining and fun. Like, even if he doesn't necessarily, I mean, it's like if he believes that you're a maniac, but if it's because he was getting interviewed and they're like, the Pizza Papa, why was a cameo? He goes, I think that was a cameo. Pizza Papa, it's a much more powerful being than you guys realize because he delayed Doctor Strange 43 seconds. Delayed it.
Oh, nice.
Think about that.
What could have been done in that time?
Yeah. Why did he need to be where exactly he was at 43 seconds later? Think about that. It's like he doesn't give any extra information. It's just.
I mean, there's a lot of arguments when it comes to the multiverse that if it wasn't for that holding him up 43 seconds, they could. Oh man.
Yeah.
That's great.
It is.
That's really funny too. Man.
He's just a delightfully charming man.
Yeah. Yeah, like every interview that he's in is hilarious. Because like you can tell that he doesn't take it too seriously.
Yeah.
Because if he did with the roles that he does.
But that's the thing is like that's exactly I think where he wants to be.
Yes.
Like he built a little like a little studio area so he can film movies and stuff on his own property.
Oh, that's neat. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I want to be the Indianapolis Bruce Campbell.
Nice. Yeah.
That's the goal.
The Evil Dead TV show was great.
Yeah.
It was so good. Why did it get canceled?
Because.
Just cause?
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. It was because there's an interview about that. He's like, it's because no one knew about Stars. That's why. They're like, oh, thank God it's on Netflix. Like, yeah, but it's still going on Stars.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's a good point. There's way too many of those streaming and networks now.
It is what it is. You know,
it kind of like exploded with like network television, and then it got down to Netflix, and now it's
back out
re-expanding.
It's a pendulum effect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you'll notice things. The older you and you're my age.
Right. Well, yeah, because we're what, 5 years apart, 6 years apart?
Something like- I'm 30. I'm turning 34
I mean, you're
years.
basically dead.
Just fucking trying to.
Oh my gosh. What else? Oh, there was something I wanted to talk about. So what makes you pick a game? Because we've gotten to the point where there's so many options. Like I remember being in middle school to high school, and there would be like the 4 games a year that came out that were the big names.
Yeah.
You know, it was like the Skyrim, the Call of Duty, but now there's like every week a minimum of 5 game announcements.
Yeah.
So how do you whittle down and decide which game gets your pick?
Honestly, it's kind of what catches. It's not a good answer. It's because it's kind of like whenever I have enough time to play a game, I look and go, "Ooh, that seems fun."
Yeah, but what is it that makes you think, "Ooh"? Is it a quirkiness factor? Is it a reliability? Like, oh, I know this company. Like, what is it at the end of the day that gets you to pull that trigger? Because there's plenty of games that I think look good, but I didn't pull the trigger on it.
Well, so speaking of Bruce Cambell, I bought the Evil Dead game because I had an afternoon or an evening, and it was $40 instead of $60, so that kind of helped. But I was like, oh, this seems really good. I didn't do enough research. It's not exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was going to be like some of the older Evil Dead games where it's a story and you're running around as Ash and da-da-da. But then like Stray just seemed like a really interesting story, and like I'd been following it for years because I heard about a game and I thought I thought my wife would like to play it. So I was like, oh, that'd be a really good safe investment. And she loves it. I think she beat it and is playing it again.
Nice.
So it's I think it is a lot of reliability. I think that's what it will have to come down to.
Yeah.
For a lot of the other games I play, like Borderlands is usually a really reliable series up until recently.
Yeah. Well, even Tiny Tina's was good. It was just the DLC that it was like, all right.
Yeah, but that's kind of like cracks in the dam.
Yeah.
Where the game itself was very repetitive.
Well, they just came out with another DLC like a week ago.
Yeah, and
it was like a new class, and stuff. But
which is like a Band-Aid over some other effects. Like
yeah, it's like, oh, cool, I can replay this exact same thing with just
slightly
different abilities.
Yeah. So it's next Borderlands game I'm gonna wait and watch and kind of get a judge on, because it is starting to happen more and more where games are a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, well, a lot of people think that because the pre-sequel didn't get a ton of good reviews, but it was like a halfway point between 2 and 3.
Yeah, I enjoyed the pre-sequel. I didn't like the low gravity stuff was my only qualm.
Yeah,
which I get. It's like fun to be in space, but also I hate moving slow.
Yeah,
like,
it would have been a lot better if those were designated areas.
Yeah,
rather than the theme of the whole thing.
Yeah,
but like 2 was amazing.
2's great.
Yeah,
I think it's my favorite video game.
Yeah, I saw somebody write an article that said the problem with Borderlands is that Borderlands 2 was too good. Like, it's hard to go anywhere from an iconic game like that. A lot of people make the same argument for like the Call of Duty series, because like Modern Warfare 2 was literally an industry changer in first-person shooters, and what's it been since? Like,
Cash grab.
They had another big win with Black Ops bringing the zombies back. But other than that, they're all kind of just chasing that glory. But there was Borderlands 2, and then they had the pre-sequel, which got lukewarm reception.
Well, I enjoyed it.
Borderlands 3 was good. It wasn't Borderlands 2. But
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, me too.
I put a lot of hours into it.
Yeah, and now we have Tiny Tina's, which is kind of just like the new pre-sequel, but it got a lot more hype than the pre-sequel because it was Dungeons & Dragons related.
Well, that and the Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep was such a high DLC.
Arguably one of the best DLCs for a game ever.
Yeah, true. But another thing that helps me pick a game is because like I'll play Magic in real life, so sometimes I'll re-download Magic Arena.
Okay.
So that's no cost to me. Like I like first-person shooters, so I played a lot of Apex.
Yeah.
So sometimes it is just the free and convenient.
Yeah, for sure. I've gotten to the point where it's almost entirely story. Like if it's a game that looks like I could get a good story out of it, like a movie, I'm way more likely to get it. Because and it all started with like Persona. Like I played Persona 5, which is a lot of gameplay. Like by the time I beat that game, I played Persona Royal, which came out the week I was like laid off for, the pandemic.
Convenient.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I put like 120 hours in that.
The first day.
Yeah.
What?
For the 3 weeks that I was laid off. And I noticed that the gameplay was fun, but I enjoyed the story more than anything.
Yeah.
So a lot of the games that I've been getting are these huge epic games that are just packed with story.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Persona, Fire Emblem, stuff like that. So I'm almost looking for more of an experience than a game at this point. There's not many games that I just buy for gameplay anymore.
I mean, that makes sense, especially because you're starting to get more into like tabletop RPGs, which is a really, really good way to get a very, very good story and interactive gameplay and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, I think so. Like, Elden Ring was a really good example of a game that I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy this. I'm hyped for it, and it was talking to you and your excitement.
Yeah.
And then it helped me also get over that initial curve of like, this is kind of what's going on.
Yeah, well, the Souls series is like a weird animal because I just did this huge thing about enjoying the story. If you don't look for it, the Souls series don't mean anything to you.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a hard game. And then unless you read item descriptions or talk to every NPC or find the secret room, you have no idea what is going on.
I like that because it is getting the story in the same way the gameplay is, but it's like you have to earn it.
Yes, absolutely.
You have to work for it.
And
or
I love it.
Watch a YouTube video.
Yeah, right. Vati Vidya.
So it fits.
Shout out to Vati Vidya. If you want to know anything about the Souls series, that guy is a historian with Dark Souls,
which is
incredible.
Good for him.
Yes, I think he's the #1 like Souls YouTuber, like literally millions of views per video.
Yeah.
When he talks 15 minutes about this item that is underneath the dragon and why it was there, and you're like, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's the thing is like there'll be stuff that I'm like, why? How did you figure that out?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, well, there was a bug,
Right.
like an animal, not the glitch.
Yeah, right. Well, I remember one of the first Vadi videos because I didn't start watching him until like I started playing Dark Souls 3, and he talked about the importance of Ornstein's armor being where it was, and how that tied into the 4 sons of Gwyn and and where these people ended up, and how this means because of Artorias in Dark Souls 1. And I'm like, you got all that from an armor set after a boss? That's amazing. Like, it's really good.
Are there books he's reading? Or is he just putting this together?
He's putting this together from the games and reading item descriptions. And it says when you pick up Ornstein's armor that one of the soldiers of blank, and if you connect that to the item description of his chest piece and #1, then that means that the son could be this person.
I'm sleepy.
Yeah, and who the Nameless King could be in relation to Gwyn and all that. It's great. I love it.
Because I finally beat Elden Ring, and I got the story out of it was they didn't want you to take their throne. It's kind of the story I got.
Oh, from Elden Ring?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
That's kind of it.
I, full disclosure, have not beat it yet.
Well,
I have not had time.
Yeah, I found some ways.
Yeah. It took me so long to do what I wanted to do with my first character, and then I took a break because it was like, okay, I'm playing this game way too much. I need to actually work on some things.
Yeah.
And I came back to it, loaded the game, and I was like, who am I? Like, I didn't remember anything, what I was doing. I was lost, so I just had to start over.
Yeah.
I ended up trying to recreate Trevor Belmont from Castlevania, so I'm just dual wielding whips.
I'm on a New Game Plus, and the game is much quicker when you know where you're going and just murder bosses.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I just started looking up stuff on like, hey, if I'm trying to get to this objective, this ending, what are the steps? And I'm just walking through.
Yeah.
Just because that's the only way I'm gonna have time. But on top of that, there was another game I started playing recently. Because I'm a big fan of Digimon. Not super popular in the West, but it's still pretty big in Japan. And I've been following Digimon for like 4 or 5 years now because I watched it as a kid.
I watched it as a kid too, and I absolutely love how bananas their evolutions
It's
are.
amazing.
It's like this one's a literal poop, which turns into a puffy little guy, and now it's an archangel with machine guns. You're like, what the fuck?
Dude, the original Digimon TV show was my favorite. I loved it so much. I thought it was so much better than Pokemon. And then I played like the Digimon World, which was like the game at the time, and it wasn't as good as the Pokemon games.
True.
So I played the Pokemon games, I watched Digimon show, and then after Digimon Adventure, they had a movie, and then after that, it just was like radio silence. But as a kid, you don't know where to go to follow that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So then like 4 or 5 years ago, I found out that there's still like a niche category of like Digimon games, and just started getting right back into it. with a game called like Cyber Sleuth or
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah.
Which, if you've never played, if you like Pokemon, play Cyber Sleuth. Digimon Cyber Sleuth. It's all 3v3 battles. The Digimon follow you, which is what Pokemon should have been doing the whole time. And
Cartridge space.
yeah, it's amazing. It's the best Pokemon game I've ever played. Is Digimon Cyber Sleuth. Like, it's great. But the new one came out called Survive, right? A lot of people were upset, but it's because they didn't realize what they were getting. And I'm not blaming the consumer, but I watched the same trailers as everybody else.
Okay.
It was very clearly a visual novel with some gameplay.
Okay.
Like when you watch the advertisements, they say join the new world, and then it showed the cutscenes. You're basically paying for a season of the anime.
Like a television season.
Yes.
Okay.
That every battle that takes place in the anime,
Yeah.
you are doing
Okay.
in a turn-based Fire Emblem-esque strategy game. So the game is about 80 hours. 65-70% of it's the visual novel and decision making, and the rest is the battles. But there's also free battles that you can just do at any point if you just want to train and fight. So
Yeah.
you can fight as much as you want. But a lot of people were like, oh, I didn't pay to watch a book. And it's like, I get that. I really do. Especially because the last one was way more action.
Yeah.
But it's an incredible game. I don't think you should rate it low because it wasn't what you expected.
Yeah, you told me they're getting review bombed, right?
Yeah, it got real bad review bombs from like, oh, it's too much, like, it's too much reading. It's like,
I mean, that's usually my complaint about things.
It's advertised as a visual novel.
Wait, you're telling me the person who's like, this is too much reading, didn't do any research on a game?
Right.
Wild.
Yeah, but like, so the new He-Man show, right?
Yeah.
It also got review bombed because of misguided expectations.
Okay.
But when you watch the He-Man season 1 trailer, it's all He-Man, and then they kill him in episode 1.
Oh, yeah.
So people were pissed. And
Yeah.
this is not the same as that. They advertised it as a visual novel
Yeah.
with some strategy elements.
Mm-hmm.
And people were like, not enough. It's like, I get that. But if you actually play it, it's a masterpiece of a story. Like,
Yeah.
It's dark. It's horror-based. It's
Really?
so good.
That's-
it's so good.
Isn't that how like the original? Because like Pokemon TV shows, like we are out doing the battles and you
Yeah.
gotta collect them. Isn't Digimon's like we're a bunch of kids sucked into a monster world,
right.
and eventually we escape, and then the monsters are eating our real planet.
Yeah.
Digital. It's oh boy.
No, it's great. Like I would highly recommend. It's a great strategy game, but mostly a visual novel. I would highly recommend anybody play it
Okay.
because everything is fully animated. Like there's cutscenes that literally just look like an episode of an anime, and then when you're going through the visual novel and talking to people, they actually animate like walking up to the person and turning over and talking to people. And
Okay,
like,
so there's a lot of production in it.
yes, yeah, it's almost fully animated, other than just the stagnant talking after the conversation started.
Yeah.
They animate just walking up in what looks like a page in a book. It's great.
Nice.
Like you can tell a lot of love went into it.
Hell yeah.
But
That's good. It sucks that people didn't read.
yeah, and I get it. I mean, the first gameplay trailer was a lot of the strategy elements of it.
Yeah.
But then everything after that was like build relationships and do this and and friendships and
Do you think? So I was talking to my buddy about something similar to this. Like he was talking about how he drove Uber for a little while, and how he just anytime anyone gets a little bit of power, they end up being like turds about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you think it's something similar to that, where they feel like they don't have a lot of they maybe don't have a lot of other things going on, and so they finally get a chance, they're gonna be like, boo, the
Yes.
thumbs down.
So the internet is an amazing and terrible place.
Yes.
I think the problem with that is any minor inconvenience suddenly becomes an event, right?
Yeah.
Like if this was back in the days of just like gaming magazines and stuff like that, and we didn't have like the Yelp and like online reviews, then you buy a disappointing game and you're like, I guess I just won't buy the next one.
Yeah.
But now every bit of this wasn't for me is like a personal offense.
Yeah, it does.
And you can let as many people know about it as you want,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to think, what was the last game? There was a game that I got for my Switch that was not great. I think it was called like Green Hell or something like that. It was like a survival game.
I've heard great things about that game.
It wasn't for me.
The jungle, like you're in
Yeah.
a jungle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have two friends that rave about it.
Yeah, for sure. And it seems it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
It crossed that line of fun survival and tediousness.
Okay.
but I didn't give it a 1 star because it was like it didn't cater it to me. Because it was fine. It was made really well. There was a lot of aspects to it. I liked the nitty-grittiness of it. The horror of it was pretty good. The gameplay couldn't keep me in it. That doesn't mean it's a bad game. I felt the same way about The Witcher. Incredible story. I couldn't get past the gameplay.
Gameplay of Witcher, not my jam either.
Doesn't mean I'm gonna rate it 2 out of 10.
Like I'm a big fan of Werewolf, and I saw they had a Werewolf game come out.
Yeah.
And the game was milquetoast. It was not great.
Yeah. Did you play it?
I did.
Okay.
I bought it. I pre-ordered it, and I was like, I'm a big fan. So I was like, I want to support.
Yeah.
If it's good, it's great. You know,
For sure.
And then it just was not. It was
Not
very
what you
repetitive combat. It was almost like the Arkham Asylum style combat, where you like this is your attack, this group of enemy.
Yeah.
Except you weren't super agile, and so it wasn't as fluid.
Okay.
So it felt clankier.
I read a review that said it felt like a early 2000s Xbox game.
Yes.
With like
exactly.
prototype and those style of
Felt
which
very
were fun.
But that was also 20 years ago.
Yeah. Right.
Like it didn't feel like it held up. Like graphically, it also was still like a little behind. But
Yeah, because the last thing you want to do is necessarily blame the consumer.
yeah,
But there is a certain level of knowing what you're buying.
yeah.
So like,
Which that was on me.
Yeah.
I watched one video and I was like, all right, put some rose-colored goggles on, and I was like, this is gonna be fun. We'll do it. And then wasn't. I didn't shit on them.
Yeah.
You know, the worst thing they got is I kind of told 2 people, like, and now put it on a podcast.
Yeah.
So now it's yeah. But I bet I almost get. Let me know if you had a great time with the game. Let us know. nerdnewschannel@gmail.com.
Or if there was a game that you bought thinking it was one thing and it ended up being a completely different thing.
Yeah, because it's all about perspective. Because I think what Tyler was kind of saying, and I was kind of bringing it up, is we have everyone has typically like life is so much better than it used to be.
Yeah.
That it's always weird. You know what I mean? When things improve, you go like, oh, well, this
what would have been amazing a few years back is now just unacceptable.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah.
Which, how do you feel about? So PlayStation is doing a bunch of like revamps on their old games.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about that? Where they just graphically increase it?
I feel like it's fine depending on the age of the game.
Okay.
Like, I heard that they're remastering the Spider-Man game.
Oh.
Which
the one that came out recently was pretty
not
good.
the Miles Morales one.
No, the one before.
The one before it. I heard it's getting like a remaster and a revamp that you have to pay for like usual for the PlayStation 5. And it's like, if it's within 5 years,
that feels odd.
I don't think you should do that. Like, that comes off as way more of a cash grab than, hey, do you remember this great game from the 90s?
In the last 5 years, though, we did like games were being made for PS4 and they had to optimize them for 5. So this might be for 5 proper, stuff like that. But it still feels a little weird.
Yeah, yeah. But it entirely depends on how recent the other game was.
Yeah,
right. Like they're remastering again, The Last of Us, which I love. But they're remastering it with the PlayStation 5 engine, which is cool.
I did see that. I am a fan of that. I like that. But that game
got remastered.
True.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
I think it was like 4 years ago.
I think that's so. The technology has that game is such a. I give that one a pass because it is such a
good game.
Such a good game.
So for you, it's more about as long as it's new technology.
I think that makes sense.
It's okay. Okay, that's
because
it's not like Resident Evil 4, which don't get me wrong, I've bought every version of that game, but it's not changed since what was it 2004 when it came out.
Yeah,
it's just the same game ported with like slightly better graphics.
Yeah,
they've made probably about $140 off me.
That's good for
from
them.
all the different versions of it, and now it's getting a complete remaster, like head to toe graphics. They're gonna make it, from what I can tell, it looks like it's gonna be more like a Resident Evil 7.
Great, that sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds
so
good.
Upgraded it. Yeah,
but yeah. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. We had to fight that wasp earlier.
We did.
So I think we can kind of wind down though.
Yeah.
Let me pull up my.
Got some plugs.
Let me pull up my plugs. What about you? What do you got going on?
I don't have anything booked right now. There's a lot of stuff in the works that don't have dates yet. So probably by next episode I'll have some more announcements.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, on the 18th, come out to Clubhouse 25th. Well, I think that's a members only. It's a swingers club I'm headlining. And then also on the 19th, I'm on a show that I cannot tell you about. In fact, I tell you, don't
that's
tell.
Exciting.
about that. So I have 2 shows you can't come to.
Yeah.
So I'm on a mystery show on the 19th, so hit me up about that. But then I have, we're going to Defense Mechanism on the 26th with Shitbird, Beta, Haunted Decay, and Shotgun Guy at Indie Walls. So that's on the 26th. He's the Defense Mechanism does our intro and outro. He's a good dude. He's got another album coming out. And then I got the dog show September 1st.
Yeah, I'm on that. I forgot about that.
Nice.
Yeah, so September 1st, I will be at the dog show.
So, yeah, I think that's all I got. That's all you got?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, hit us up at the nerdnewschannel@gmail.com. Comment, like, subscribe. We love doing this. We want to spread this as far as we can. We don't have any advertising budget. It's all word of mouth, and it seems to be slowly increasing. So that's all thanks to you guys. Yeah. So I just want to say I appreciate it.
One sneak peek that we can kind of hint at, since it's something that we're working on, is maybe some kind of Nerd News Live.
Yep, we're working on Nerd News Live.
Trying to find a venue to do one of these with some skits, maybe some gags,
skits,
some
stand up. Yeah.
So stay tuned for that, because that's something that we're working on.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Have a great time, everyone.